country.
Calvin Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the speech from the member who just sat down he was throwing around figures here and numbers here and amounts there, and it reminds me of the old saying, it's a truism, that 62.4% of statistics are made up on the spot. He just proved that right there and then. This government, Mr. Speaker, is arrogant.
Order. I hope it's a point of order. Point of order, Sam. The Honourable President Sam Rodman.
To my remarks in this House.
Order. So the member's seeking leave to table.
Well, I'm seeking leave. I'm happy to table those figures that are...
The source of the figures and the date of the figures.
Well, they're research
I'm not putting the leave. Sorry to interrupt the Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Obviously, that one line, the nuances of that one-liner on the minister there. Look, this government is arrogant. It is out of touch. It's ignoring the big issues that face New Zealanders. And when we say arrogant and out of touch, we just need to present Exhibit A, who was sitting in the blue dress over here earlier on. Judith Collins exudes the arrogance and the out-of-touch state of this government like nobody else we've ever seen. Look, New Zealanders, we don't ask for much, but we have a dream. And the dream is that we have a good house, a decent house, a warm, safe, dry house. We're able to provide for our families, and we have a decent job. But this government's made it almost impossible for that dream to be realised by anybody. When we take a look at the warm, dry home, how many people really, these days, who are just leaving school or leaving university and trying to get into the home market, how many of our young people really have that chance today? With the skyrocketing price of houses, how many young people these days are really going to see that dream is reachable, attainable, especially when we talk about, on the Labour side of the House here, about providing free education, 3 years free university education for our people. On that side of the House there, all they want to do is criticise and condemn that. What we're trying to do is give young New Zealanders a leg up. Because I was talking to my colleague Megan Wood, who said that she had a $100,000 student debt, and she's only just managed to pay it off. $100,000. That means she has to pay off that debt really before she can actually start saving for a house, saving for a place for herself to live. And yet Megan is in a well-paid job and has done very well, but there are other people in New Zealand we know that don't have such great jobs, because jobs in themselves are hard to find. So we want to have a place to call home. We want to be able to provide for our families. We want to be able to provide food, shelter, clothing for our families. That dream is becoming harder and harder to come by, in particular when we see that the minimum wage has been raised to $15.25. Well, something is better than nothing, I must admit, but we were calling for a $15 minimum wage 2 elections ago. Yeah. And only now the government is saying that we can afford it. They said if it was raised another 50 cents, 2,000 jobs would be lost. Oh, really? That's again, I say, 62.4% of statistics are made up on the spot. Then we've got the 0-hour campaign, 0-hour contracts, Mr. Speaker. You know, what sort of government does this to people? A 0-hour contract means that somebody basically has to sit at home. They can't really go anywhere. Like if a family wanted to go to the beach, for example, on a Saturday afternoon, they'd plan for it. They actually can't do that because they have to sit at home and hope that the phone's going to ring for work, or think that the phone might ring, but then again it might not. How can a family actually plan for quality time? How can a family actually do things together when they know that if they're on a 0-hour contract, they have to sit around and wait for and hope that the phone is going to ring? What sort of government does that to its people, Mr. Speaker? 0-hour contracts. What we say, these are our three, we're committed on these 3 matters. We want to remove the ability of employers to put people on contracts where they're on call, but with no permanent hours. Employers should not be able to cancel shifts. I mean, imagine somebody who is wanting to work, they're expecting to work, and next thing you know, the shift is being cancelled. How fair is that? What sort of government agrees to those sorts of things? And where practical, hours of work should be included in the employment agreement so that people can actually plan and have some security in their lives, Mr. Speaker. This government is actually trampling on the Kiwi dream.
Jamie.